Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly special, the somberest episode you will ever see. I will address this right off the bat because you're probably wondering, where's Josh? Where's Jordan? Josh wasn't here last week. Where's Jordan? Yada, yada. We'll start with Josh. He's an insanely busy man. Tax season's finally coming to an end. Expect probably next week he'll be back and it'll be a regular staple. Jordan, he's just having some family stuff. He's busy doing vacation or something with them. I don't know what. But they're having a fun old time. So for this week, it'll be the Houdek Brothers podcast. Pretty much. It's the weekly special, but it's us two. Couldn't find any replacements in time. Kind of recording this later on a Monday when we normally do. Which, speaking of that, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so, yeah, because we were supposed to do a special St. Patty's Day episode this week. Everyone dresses in green. We all get hammered. I was going to devise some devious, everyone take a shot plan or something bullshit like that, but...
That would have been a good one to do.
Yeah, we'll pick the next holiday. Easter, maybe.
Still going to get hammered,
Maybe we'll paint eggs on the podcast or something. I'll start it off right now. I'm giving us like a 7 to 10 minute cap because I need to vent. And I know you don't want to hear it, and I don't even want to say it, about the bullshit beer virus. I'll start with something I haven't even told you yet. I'm seeing this new trend on Facebook now. I don't get the point of it. I don't know if it's nationwide. Maybe it's just Iowa, per se. But it's parents who are saying, next time you see a senior, give them a hug and tell them everyone it's okay. It's just a copy and paste thing. They copy and paste and they post a picture of their kid or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, give them a hug and tell them everything's going to be okay. Because a lot of them are really sad, depressed, and down because they're losing the last month and such of getting to be with their friends. Bullshit. No, I feel robbed right now. 100%. I've been saying this all day. Both of us have. That why didn't this bullshit fake virus come out when we were in high school? And that just aggravated me. Because all of them are trying to do this like pity party thing for kids in high school. No kid who's out for a month right now, I don't care if they're a senior, especially seniors actually, are going, God, I really wish I was in school right now for this last month. None of them. Especially people who live in Iowa. Because they're like, well, they're not going to get to see their friends. Bitch, they live in Iowa. They live like 20 miles away from each other. And the seniors in Iowa, everyone has a car.
Yeah. It's small towns everywhere, so most of your friends live within walking distance of each other.
It was one thing if it was Arizona, where the general poverty line is lower, or like, would it be higher? More, I don't know if it's higher or lower, depending. Whichever one makes where more people are poor, that one. There's not a lot of, like, every senior high schooler doesn't own a car. Here, there was probably one kid in my graduating class who didn't have a car. They all know where each other live. I mean, why did everyone have to make it so sad? Like, these kids are having the time of their lives right now. I mean, they get a month without school. That's awesome.
And one that, they won't have to make up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing is that they don't have to make it up. Because that was probably everyone's worry is like, yeah, we're going to have class until July or something. But now it's, if you're a senior, you're still graduating like May 15th or 20th. This is the best spring break of your life.
Exactly.
And if one of you gets it, you're not going to die. Because it's bullshit.
Yeah. It's simple. Wash your hands. Don't be stupid. Stop impulse buying.
Stop buying toilet paper, you fuckers.
Toilet paper, baby wipes, and water. Trust me, it's not the end of the apocalypse.
See, I haven't seen a guy in person yet. Like, because I haven't been to Walmart since all this happened. I just don't need things from Walmart. Right. I want to talk to one of them. I really do. I just want to hear what they have to say. I know it's going to be some I buy you toilet paper. No, I just want to know their reason. No. Like, why are you buying so much toilet paper? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think you're going to get this thing and it's going to be like a 24-hour like Mississippi River like poo flood out of you? It's not. Have you had diarrhea in your life? Yes. This will be nothing different. Yeah. Will it be maybe a little worse? Maybe. But why do you need so much toilet paper? Yeah. Do you think if you get it, you have it for like the next 10 years and you're not going to be able to get some? Like, if everyone just kept buying as they normally have this whole time, things will be fine.
Okay. It's hysteria. Mass hysteria. That's all it is. Is that, that everything gets brought up to this point of, we're freaking out because of the numbers that are coming out. And people see that and they go, well, shit, we need to do something about this. It's been, 2-3 months that it's since, it really started or whatever.
You could, if you want to be honest, you could argue a month of, since it came into the forefront. And maybe
Yeah.
less, honestly.
Well-
Like, the first China outbreak, I think was, reported, I think was like a month ago. In that one Chinese
Well, and you
city,
gotta
but-
give slight incubation period for it to start. But yeah,
And-
okay,
and-
let's say a month and a half to 2 months at the very most. The amount of cases that have popped up, people have blown way out of proportion.
Oh God, yeah. This I'm done with the death rate thing. We are. If you look at it from an outside view from like a scholar's view, this is a really interesting time to live in because it's a good example of how media and mass hysteria and like the definitive answer to us being in the information era.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any time to show that we're truly in the information era, this is it.
Okay.
Because everyone is constantly staring at their phones and the news all day. It's all I hear every day. 8 hours a day on the radio. God forbid you turn on ESPN. I mean, if it wasn't for free agency today, ESPN would have been a shit show again. But, I mean, props to the NFL, by the way, for trying to at least go on with this. Everyone else, the NBA, Rudy fucking Gobert, that asshat, I'm blaming for all of this. I'm blaming the coronavirus on Rudy Gobert. Because he had to make a statement about, it's not that contagious. Yeah, it is contagious. And, by the way, he's pretty much healthy now. I saw an interview today with that guy, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling much better now. And
Of course.
But because of him, the NBA had to cancel. And because the NBA canceled, it green-lighted everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Because now the NCAA doesn't feel as bad. Because the NBA did it. They're not bad. And the MLB, well, the NBA did it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just everyone else is doing it, so I'm going to do it too. And, it'll be just fine.
I'm so ready for all of it to be over.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I want us to...
Everything now. Just at my job alone, we've already had a couple meetings as well as some information sent out to us as employees, basically stating, here's what's going on. If you happen to encounter something, here's your steps.
Yeah.
So everyone's preparing for the worst, which I understand. You always want to prepare for the worst, hope for the best. However, if you do your basic necessities, like I said, once again, washing your hands like any normal person would.
We should have been doing this whole time.
Exactly, and that's it. A normal person who washes their hands every single time they use the bathroom or just other stuff, you get dirty, you wash your hands. Basic human things. Just what you should do. Basic human behavior.
Yeah.
You'd be just fine, but no, we got to blow it out of proportion. We got to go buy up all the baby wipes and toilet paper because that's going to make it so much better.
Yeah. I'm done with it. I want life to get back to normal. I've said this, call it I don't know, not PC, I don't care. I don't care if there are 10, 20, 30,000 people have to die for this to be over with. Just let it happen. I want like a month at the most, even though my prediction's 4 months. I think after 4 months, this is going to just kind of disappear. Whether it be like a vaccine comes out or some government just announces, the strain is just not as active as it once was, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just going to go away. Maybe 6 months, somewhere.
At some point, it's just going to drop off. Plain and simple. It's how it works. Everything is. I was actually seeing something that was comparing like some of the death tolls for like the viruses and diseases or whatnot that have been throughout the last, I don't know how many years, going all the way back to like the Black Plague and whatnot. The next highest one from the coronavirus was Ebola.
Yeah.
It's still got...
And that was a wimpy fucking disease.
And it's got 3 times as much deaths as this. But yet we're freaking out way more.
Yeah. Ebola was... props to the CDC that because they made it sound like it was the most contagious thing on the planet. And maybe it was. I don't know. But I know whoever got it was like, you're dying.
Yeah.
It was like diarrhea in the 18th century. You got it, you're gone. But it got contained super well. I never heard of anyone who I never heard of an outbreak at all. It was like 2 doctors who came back from Africa who got it, or one of the one of the African countries who got it, and they both got the secret serum, and then there was the other 3 people who just pretty much melted to death because they didn't get it. I think that's a little fishy in the first place, but that's for another time.
Yeah.
But
One thing, though, to add on to before we end up finally cutting ourselves short, since I don't really have my usual gaming news, any of you who are out there that are gamers probably have already heard this, but unfortunately, as far as we know of, E3's main event has been canceled.
Yeah, all showings
Yeah.
and conventions have been not just postponed, but canceled.
Yeah.
So, but on a lighter news, Xbox said they're going to do some sort of live event.
Yeah.
So if you're an Xbox fan out there, if you're a PlayStation, don't get your hopes up. They ain't telling you shit. You don't even know what your new console looks like. But if you're an Xbox fan and a IQ human being above 60, keep an eye open for it around June, July, when E3 normally airs.
Yeah.
Normally it's at the beginning of one of those months, and it'll be some sort of live event that they'll stream directly to your console, and they'll run it just like a show,
Yeah.
like how E3 would be,
Just
like
without all
their
the
press
audience.
conference. And I wouldn't doubt it if they pair with like Bethesda and the big companies, and they just merge it into one 4-hour Xbox live streaming event. I'm sure it'll be available everywhere, not just Xbox. It'll be YouTube, and it is every year.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's good for them. I'm happy they're finding the alternative way, because people love E3.
And
I mean, I guarantee there was already pre-sale tickets that people bought.
Oh, yeah, I
And
wouldn't have doubt it.
'cause
There's
E3 is huge.
Yeah.
It just has gotten bigger every single year.
Well, and you got to think of it this way: those diehard fans. Which, if I had the money, I would love to go to E3.
Yeah.
But those ones who do have the money and the diehard fans, the second those tickets pop up for buying, they're right on it.
Yeah.
That's how it is, and it's
Because especially the people who live down there, who they go to that every year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a yearly routine for them, and now it's
Then I wonder if they did buy, are they going to get refunded, or are they going to get some special, like as a compensation of, hey, sorry, you spent your money and we can't have
Yeah.
you come here, or it'd be nice if they did something like that, like, hey, especially seeing as it was the whole experience where you got to be there every single day and whatnot.
It's like
is
I think it's 5 days
1,000
at E3
yeah,
and like
it's like $1,000 ticket.
which, to be fair, not a whole lot. For
Well-
5 days of getting to see all the brand newest games, brand newest consoles, you get a pass to every single
Oh,
developer's show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for
you get
$1,000
to
bucks.
see
I'll
all
pay
the
that.
booths,
Like,
and then you get to do stuff like try out all the brand new games, and then
yeah,
and then plus especially when it comes down to stuff like Rainbow Six or those other companies, they always have their stuff where you get specialized skins.
Yeah,
or
they have,
stuff
like,
for your
interactive
weapons
things
or
and
characters and such.
the kind of reward plus to the
Exactly
consumer thing.
for those who are actually able to show up. So I wonder if there's something that they'll do to kind of compensate them for it.
Well, and it's kind of like a proving ground right now for this virus popping out. We're starting to see the companies that really are willing to adapt. Xbox is willing to adapt, and what do you call it? The NFL is willing to change. The draft is now going to be live streamed.
Yeah.
They're still making it happen, but all these other like not corporations, but like sporting things are just giving the hell up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the
They're not even
NCAA was the first one to really make a response to the coronavirus, and they said we're going to play all of our games, but empty stadiums. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do.
Well,
What
no,
are the
you
chances?
can still televise those, and then
Yeah,
just
and
have
everyone still
people
gets to
tune in.
watch it.
Yeah.
Most of the NCAA's viewership comes on televised part anyway. I mean, so they did the right thing, and then the NBA had to fucking come along and ruin all that shit up. And NCAA was like, well, we have to do the same thing, or I get it's like a safety clause, because if the NBA does it and the NCAA stays with doing no arenas or no attendance arenas, and then a player gets it, the NCAA is getting sued.
Oh, yeah.
Like something's gonna happen,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're just gonna get dragged through the mud more than they already have in
Yeah,
recent
it's
years.
basically just a way to cover their own bases,
Pretty
which
much.
is
That's what everyone's doing
understandable.
right now, is they're covering their
Yeah,
own asses.
yeah. It's understandable, but still, once again, NBA, thank you for starting the shit show.
But at the same time, we're talking about the healthiest human individuals in America.
Yeah.
Athletes. All of them are at peak physical care.
Yeah.
If one of them gets it, they're gonna be fine. They're
yeah.
all under the age of 40.
Yeah.
Literally, pretty much unless it's Tom Brady and a quarterback. And still, he's still super healthy. They're all gonna survive.
Yeah, and not only that, they got enough money to throw around to get the top of the line.
To get the secret cure,
Yeah, to get that secret cure of. It's Lyme disease. That's how you.
Lyme disease.
Yeah, that's how you beat the
The coronavirus. You just got to add a lime once the lime's going. By the way, today's podcast is brought to you by Corona Extra. Do you like beer? Do you hate bullshit fake viruses? Drink Corona. Cheers. Fucking done with it. Dude, that whole stock price Corona thing just got me tilted about... I mean, I know I think we might have talked about it last week. I don't remember. I mean, because they were... Yeah, they were already plummeting.
Yeah.
Or not plummeting, but they were kind of caving. And this just kind of threw it over. I feel so bad for their company. Like, who was the asshole who had to name it that shit? Imagine if we named it Ford Motor Company. Wouldn't you hate to get Ford Motor Company? Wouldn't that be the worst? Dude, stock sales are plummeting. Chevy's through the roof. That's a ploy from Chevy right there. This is Michelob Ultra right here, playing this game. Fierce competition. Because there's levels of beer. There's like Bud Light and Budweiser. They're up at the top here. You know, they get their good Super Bowl commercials. Then we got like Corona and like Michelob. They get like one Super Bowl commercial, and they're normally like only 30 seconds. Corona's just people on a beach. Michelob is a bunch of joggers who think they're losing weight by drinking low-calorie beer. Looking at you, Josh. Missing you. So they're just up in the ante. They want to get to tier 1 Michelob.
Yeah. They're shooting for it.
But we can get past all that. I think we've already went past our 10 minutes. I'm vented. I'm good. I'll say one more thing, and that's that I guarantee 90%, or at least it should be, is where... Actually, I'm going to say 50%, not even 90%, are where we are. They just want this shit over. They're done with hearing about it. They're not afraid. They know if I get it, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to poop for a couple days, then I'll be good.
Yeah.
That's because the amount I see, I literally think there's another 50% that's just dumb. Like, if you ever want to discover IQ points right now, this is the time. It's dropping. There's no more Stephen Hawking's.
Nope.
Yeah.
The IQ average of the United States just keeps slipping a couple points each day.
Yeah. But on lighter news, since we spoke about Xbox, they released their console. Or not released it. They released all of the specs for their console today. Bravo to you, Xbox. You are a true pioneer in the industry. And you... Yeah.
You were watching a video earlier, too, that was showing every last detail of it. And there's going in depth to all the different parts.
There's two guys on who are big YouTubers. Yeah. One of them's Adam something. I can't think of his name right now. But they both got full hands-on experiences with the Xbox. Now, mind you, they're going to be a little different than the final packaging. Now, all that final is like... They might change this strip on the motherboard. Or this might just get moved a little bit here. But they pretty much got the full thing. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous, genius console. It's a little big. I mean, I'm not going to say Xbox does everything right. The console's a little huge. Yeah. And when you look at the inside of it, there's a little unused space. Or not unused, but it's like you could have shaped things differently.
You could have worked it a different way.
Because on the opposite of other Xbox consoles, as you know, it looks like a vertical cube. Or not cube, but a rectangle, I guess. Yeah. I don't know what the polygon name is for rectangles. One of those, yeah. We'll call it a rectangle. But it actually slides in from the back of the console, all of the hardware. In opposed to normal consoles that slide in from the... I guess you can't say the top. It is the side, technically. It's the long side.
Yeah.
Move on from that. Doesn't matter. Anywho. He took apart the console piece by piece, showed off all the specs. I mean, showed us the chip, all of the hardware, the CPU, the SSD, the GPU... Really detailed. Yeah. And the whole time he was doing it, it looked like he was on a burner. Because all like 4 or 5 of the Xbox head developers were sitting right there just staring at him. Yeah. And that's got to be terrifying. Because he's holding this like, I think it goes together this way. And they're just like, ugh. Coolest feature I saw of it in terms of assembly, everything's magnetic in it.
Really?
Yeah. From what I saw, there's no screws. Everything just goes clip. Because it's, to see the back, we'll put a link in the description below so you can get a look at it yourself if you're an Xbox or a console fan. It's just an aluminum bracket, and they strap one CPU or motherboard to it and a motherboard on the other side. For why not? And then one of them's got the chip on one side and then a liquid cooler now, which the Xbox One X did have that. This one is just a tank. I think it's huge. It's bigger than any of the parts in there. They've got a standard Blu-ray disc drive because if the shoe fits, you use it. We've been using that same thing for since the original Xbox One. And you know what? I'll be nice. The PS3, they started the Blu-ray drive in the console. I'll give it to them, okay? Even though Blu-ray discs weren't even out yet. Or no one had them.
Yeah.
They started that. That was like 10 years ago now. There's no need to move on from it.
Exactly.
I mean, they don't make 4K discs,
Yeah.
and you can play a Blu-ray disc and upscale it to 4K, so there's no reason to...
Well, and that's it. Is you have your 4K movies, but you could still throw it into your normal Blu-ray player, and your TV upscales it to 4K.
Exactly.
So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
As long
Will
as
it
you
be
got
true
the,
4K?
yeah.
No, but it's upscaled, and it looks fine.
It still looks pretty damn good.
You still got 2,160 pixels on one side and 3,160 on the other. It's still the same damn thing. Just a little bit richer if it's true 4K, but get over yourself. But the console as a whole, gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm happy they're sticking with the no brick idea. Because, I mean, out of the latest gen consoles, the original Xbox was the only one to do that. And there's a reason for it that people didn't... It's a heating thing.
Yeah.
Because if you just do the single cord, that means you have to put a PSU, a power supply unit, inside your console. And those things radiate fucking heat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's all they do. They generate electricity. All they do is radiate heat. But it's kind of off by itself, and the fan on that thing is a thing of beauty.
That looked like a beast.
Well, it's designed really ergonomically, where it's curved blade fans, where it's not just a slash fan, it's an actual curved fan.
Yeah.
And then at the top of the fan, it hollows out to pretty much come to an edge with the top of the console.
Oh.
So it's a good tight seal on it. And
Oh.
then they have a security line on it. The most interesting thing I saw from it, too, if you're a tech person, you'll understand this. If you're not, sorry, we'll move on soon. Give us like 2 minutes. It comes standard with SSD now, which is, as if you're a tech person, you know, extremely faster than the standard hard drive we've been using for the past 20 years. I mean, since the original Xbox, if not since ever, really. It's extremely fast. Makes your games load faster, your OS loads faster, your UIs, everything. Comes with a terabyte standard of that. That's a shitload of SSD. That's a fucking lot. But it's got a port on the back that everyone was skeptical about. And all it is, it's a little chip now. You'll plug in, it's another 1 terabyte of SSD. Just plugs directly in as it considers it internal storage. And that's fucking... I mean, you can't do that on a PC. You have to take that fucker apart and buy the SSD, put it in, and is it that much harder? No, but it's a lot more fucking expensive on a PC.
Oh, yeah. Well, everything on the PC is a lot more expensive. Mm-hmm. You take this console, which... Did they release the price yet for what it's going to be?
They did not, but as 98% of experts have said, expect a cap at $499. Which for what's in that console, I'm going to pay $499.
Oh, yeah.
That is a fucking animal of a console.
Yeah. Well, and then you look at that. You take that $499 cap there, compared to even maybe a rough PC build.
Yeah.
It could still run you about $1,200-$1,300, and that's not with all the extra goodies just to get it close to the point of where that Xbox is going to be sitting.
Ever since this got dropped today, it was pretty much this morning, there's so many YouTube videos of people who are like, sorry PC, like this console is going to outdo your normal, like most people's PC and every console, and it's going to cost half the price.
Yeah.
Like... Because
PC Master Race is slowly slipping behind now.
Yeah. Well, because most of the things are built in-house by Microsoft. I mean, they've done their SSD is built in-house. It's a custom. You're never going to find it anywhere else. It's just by them. Which brings me to the question of, they showed off the stick of what it looks like for the external SSD, and it is a Microsoft brand. I don't know if we can expect other brands to make it as well, or if it's going to be like exclusively Xbox. I hope not, because then that kind of bottlenecks the market. I love Xbox, but they've been known to overcharge for accessories when it comes to memory. I mean, you buy like a Seagate, which is their brand's hard drives, and those things can run you like $200. It's ridiculous. When I could buy the same thing that runs the same speed for like $50. Yeah. I mean, but I get it. Does it probably run faster? Even though it's got the same specs, probably, because it's native. Seagate and things like that they're built for Xbox. You plug them in, they're good to go, and you don't have to do any formatting, which is like 5 seconds, but it's good to go.
Yeah.
But definitely beautiful console. We'll probably keep you up to date as more news, because we're all Xbox players in this house. Since the last 12 years, since our 7th PS2 burnt out on us with their shitty fans. So yeah, then we moved to 360 and got Red Ring of Death. So good trade-off.
Yeah, but then again, we went to Red Ring of Death, and then ever since they came out with the Xbox Ones.
Or it wouldn't be the one, it'd be the Elites, honestly. The Elites never had a red ring.
True. I never saw one that had a red ring, and I can't remember if I ever heard of one getting a red ring, which actually isn't too bad comparing that it was a slight upscale from the 360. Yeah. Well, because it wasn't like a jump.
When they did the Elites is when they added the HDMI port in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Which is something that was like not talked about a lot when that console came out. Everyone talked about the red ring because that's 360 was synonymous about it. Yeah. Xbox got red rings, which meant 3 different things: hardware error, controller failure, or overheating. And PlayStation just broke. They didn't overheat, they just broke. And you didn't get a reason why.
Yeah. And then even then there was times where they had possible tricks to fix your red ring. And
the wrap in a towel and they'll put it in rice. Because I know it was...
Well, it was the wrap it in towel, turn it on, and let it be on for 10 minutes in that towel.
Which seems super counterintuitive, honestly.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like you're just going to...
You're just suffocating
much
it more
heat in there.
Yeah.
And then you take it off, and there's a chance that it somehow overheated itself back into...
Because the original idea with the red ring was your console gets so hot that all the soldering begins to melt in the console. So the idea was you lay it on your side, wrap it in a towel, it heats up, and then it's hoping your soldering will melt right back into place. That ain't how it fucking works. Sorry. Unless you're the luckiest guy on the planet, I never heard of that shit working. Because there's people didn't realize there was different kinds of red rings. Like I said, the 3 earlier, and they were all signified by different lights.
Yeah.
Like if the 2 of them lit up, that was your hardware error, or one of them. It was like all of them lit up with the exception of the top right one, and they all just meant different things. But yeah, the big thing they never talked about with the Elite is that's when we made the jump from 720 to 1080p. Is when we actually got into the HD era. They added
we stopped doing this.
the stupid yellow, white, red AV cables. If you shout out to anyone who did what we did with the fucking composite cables. The yellow, white, red,
blue, green.
Was it blue, green?
Yeah, it was blue, and I know it was blue, green.
But they weren't a normal blue, green though. They were like a iridescent blue and like a weird teal green.
Yeah. Well, and the
weirdest
thing
fucking color.
Is if you had any kind of shadow toward those, they seemed so similar of a color, you'd mix them up.
You had to plug in the white and red because they stuck out.
Oh, yeah.
And then the yellow, blue, and green, mind you, I know what you're thinking. Those are way different colors. The fuck they are to Microsoft. They're the same goddamn color. Because they all were very similar. You had to sit there and shine a light and then do the same thing to the back of your TV. Because that is the only time I've ever heard anyone use a composite cable was with the Xbox. Because we've owned Blu-ray players. We've owned DVD players. None of them use that shit. And it was the weirdest. That was the ugliest cable that Xbox ever did. That bulky fucking gray thing that plugged into the back, and it had the. It almost looked like a PC's like a VGA cable. It was it was ugly. I bet you could plug that into a PC and it would work. But I think I told you not too long ago about like the PC revolution with tube TVs.
Ooh, I don't know if you ever not.
Yeah. So. You remember the old box monitors?
Yeah.
So they're not digital. Technically, it's like the TV we had. It shines a yellow, a red, and a blue light.
Yeah.
And the way it just adjusts the lighting to bring a picture because they all merge together. It's kind of a genius idea. People have noticed that when plugging their high-end PCs into that, those tube TVs don't have a cap on resolution because they're not digital. They don't have a fixed resolution.
Really?
So they're able to get pictures that like look better than 4K and 8K. But it's on a 12-inch fucking tube TV.
A dinosaur monitor.
So I've seen ones where it's like people playing Skyrim with like ultra realistic graphics. It looks fucking goofy. It looks so weird. But I'm like, wow, that is genius. Who the hell figured that? Because they normally would have to get like a special cable that would plug. Actually, I don't even think they would because it still was. I think PCs use the same cable for the last like 10, 15 years of VGA cables. They've all always looked the same.
Yeah.
So I guess you could just plug your PC into any of those. I don't know what the difference would make on whether it looks good. I mean, if Samsung makes a tube TV, plug it into that, I guess. Because we wholeheartedly stand by them in this house. Okay, fuck it, I'm going back to it.
That lasted long.
Okay. I'm giving myself like 5 minutes. This could not have hit at the wrong, like the worst time ever.
Oh, I know.
Like, I think it would have been really interesting though if it hit like 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, just to see what would have happened. To watch people just lose their shit, because it would be, or like a week before the Super Bowl, like like Italy outbreak happens 1 week and it's like unheard of. Like China doesn't happen first, none of that. Italy, 1,000 people dead in a day. Watch people flip the fuck out. Like there'd be riots in the streets. That would be fun to watch. Probably not be terrifying, but we're in Iowa. That shit don't happen here. People might try to like steal someone else's tractor or something, but nothing bad.
And the occasional story of the children of the corn. But, other than that, nothing else happens here in Iowa.
No, not at all. So, I was reading a funny article the other day. There was a hard hat, some workman's hard hat, that some guy dumped in the Mississippi River 5 years ago. It showed up in Ireland today. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, that's pretty fucking wild, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just curious how they tracked that. Like, did some guy purposely... I have the article here. It says it's just a hard hat that fell into the Mississippi River in 2015 is being mailed back to its owner after being found 4,300 miles away on a beach in Ireland. Mind you, I didn't even know Ireland had fucking beaches. I just see breweries there.
Yeah, that's the more sunnier part of it.
Oh, okay, I see now. So apparently, the hard hat had the name of the company on it, which I don't know how the hell that survived. The name of the company.
If it was engraved.
It doesn't not look like it. It looks like it was painted on there. The hat still looks like it's in good condition. Wow. Like, it's got some chipping in the paint, but how do you go through 5 years in the ocean?
Yeah, I figured salt water would...
You start eating shit away.
Everything.
Yeah. But apparently they got a hold of the company after seeing the name on the front and just asked, like it doesn't say how they asked, but I'm guessing one was like, did one of your guys use a hard hat like 5 years ago? And somehow they got it back to him. So,
wow. Yeah, that's...
I love when crazy coincidences like that happen. Or like the weird shit that connects people. Because that's a story those two people are going to tell forever now.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, it's going to be the most, honestly, probably boring story ever to your kids. It can last 2 minutes. But I lost his hard hat and it got returned like 5 years later in Ireland. That's crazy, son.
Traveled hundreds of miles, thousands of miles through the ocean. How? I don't know.
No.
And then they all moved on like nothing happened.
You just gotta wonder, like, when you're that person who did lose it, like, how do you react to that, I guess? It's some stupid and goofy and has no long-lasting effects, but it's, like, do you get excited? Or are you like, yeah, got my hard hat. Like, what if that was his favorite fucking hard hat? That was the best one he's ever had, and, yeah.
It was his first hard hat ever.
Oh, what a shit. I'm just reading here. Switching over to the NFL. Because free agency came on today, and free agency was pretty goddamn interesting. It wasn't the best it's ever been, but it was pretty interesting. Some of the notable ones, if you're football fans out there, Ryan Tannehill got signed to like $100-something million deal with the Titans. Does he deserve it? I don't think so. He took him to the playoffs pretty far this year. And he took down the Patriots. Or Tom Brady took himself down, honestly. Thank you very much. From the entire world, besides Boston, thank you. But besides that, he has been shit his whole career. He sucked. He was with the Dolphins forever, and he sucked. He's the reason.
But then again, when was the last time the Dolphins really did good?
It's true.
Hey, hate to dick on you guys there, but, shit happens.
I don't think he deserves it. Some of the notable trades, the Falcons, as my father and brother, not this one, are Falcons fans. They dropped Devontae Freeman and added Hayden Hurst from the Ravens. They traded a second round and fifth round pick from 2020. Got a fourth round from Baltimore, and they just fucked themselves in the ass. He's a second string tight end. Not that good. He's okay. I think they rated him like top 20th in between tight ends, but unless you're top 5 in tight ends, you're really not that good. You're just not. We've got our top 5. We've got our Kelsey, Ertz, Andrews, those other two fuckers, Kittle, and the other one. That one. Yeah, you know the one. Those are the top 5. I can't think of his fucking name right. I don't know why.
Do you know what team?
Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz. Fuck, I forgot the 4th one. Andrews from the Ravens, and he's a rookie though, so I can't count him too much. And shit, really, that's only 4, honestly, who are like really like standout people.
Well, and then you had, isn't Gurley a tight end?
No, Gurley's a running back.
He's a running back?
He's a running back, yeah.
Okay, maybe not. I don't know.
Besides that, and I'm going to count out Mark Andrews because he was a rookie, or he might have been a second year, but he had a breakout year, great tight end. But sorry, until you do it 2 years in a row, I don't fucking believe in you. You're not real, okay?
You're not there. You're
exactly
a figment of our imagination.
You're Nick Chubb. That's what you are. You have a great first year and you wreck the league, and then you know what you do next year? Fucking nothing. Looking at you, ruining my fantasy lineup, you piece of shit.
How do you think I felt? This is my first year doing fantasy football.
For your first year, you did pretty damn good, though.
Which, I'm not going to lie, I had no idea about how to do it in this first year. And I played in 2 separate leagues. One here with my family and friends, and one with people from my last job. And at first I was like, well, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And in both leagues, I made it to the playoffs. In this league, I actually went to the Super Bowl and lost to Josh, you bastard.
Josh, he's a good fantasy player.
Well,
it still doesn't have
it's because he had the right people that always did the best right when he needed them.
Yeah.
Anytime I needed those players to just do they had blowout game.
That's how it works.
McCafferty, you son of a bitch.
He's a scary man.
He is. Both my leagues, he fucked me over. Because the 2 people, one from each league, that had him on there, was the one I faced at least twice throughout the whole season. And both times, he had a blowout game.
Yeah.
I had someone who's like, yeah, finally someone put up 20 points. And then here comes him with 40. It's like, thank you. Just blow me right out of the water.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I am excited for NFL to come back.
Just for it, too.
Just so I could get back into fantasy, because I had fun.
Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, yeah. I urge anyone, really, who likes football a normal amount to play fantasy football. Maybe you'll lose. Maybe you'll suck at it. It doesn't matter. But if you really try at it and you, go into it with an open mind, fantasy football's fucking great. It really is. You always have fun doing it. You stress the shit out of yourself playing it, and you do piss yourself off, but the unintentional side effect, you just know more about the game.
Well, and that's it.
You could watch any game and just suddenly know players on those teams, and you know who's a good player, you know who isn't. Yeah. There's teams I never give a fat shit for, like the Raiders, but do I know their 5 starting players on each position, or their quarterback, receiver, running back? Yeah, but it's even though I have no care for them. And it's a nice thing. It gives you a general knowledge of the league, and it makes you just enjoy the sport more.
No. Well, and that's it. It was 2 years ago. I'm a huge Denver Broncos fan. If you've seen one of our earlier podcasts, you've seen. Well, yeah, but in the earlier podcast, I had my jersey on. A couple years ago, if you asked me the names of people on my team or even throughout the league, I'd probably name you Tom Brady because, unfortunately, everyone knows that name.
Sadly.
But that was, I didn't know much about the league. But, yeah, playing fantasy football, you have to keep your eyes out on news.
You got to know who's playing.
You got to be watching it, and that's the biggest thing. If you do decide to take fantasy football for, a spin, couple basic rookie mistakes. Forget what your favorite team is.
100%. Yeah, you have to be.
Don't play off of your favorite team, because unless it's guaranteed that one of those people on your team is a top 5.
Yeah. Unless you're a Chiefs fan,
yeah,
you can pick up Mahomes. We are not going to stop you.
Yeah,
Like, I made that mistake my first year. My first year, I played with a bunch of bozos, which I don't recommend. Don't just hop on NFL or ESPN and just hop into a league with random people, because by week 2, 4 of them aren't playing. By week 6, another 2 aren't playing. And by the end, you're lucky if, like, you and another guy are still playing, like, setting lineups every week. It just gets kind of boring. And you just don't feel it. But, like, my first year, I took Nick Foles, LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, the Eagles defense, all of that. That also happened to be the year that Nick Foles threw 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and LaShawn McCoy was the rushing leader, and Deshaun Jackson was the 4th receiving leader. So it didn't help my case at all, because the next year, fuck did I want to draft Philly players. It's like, that worked out so well.
But that's the thing is, you gotta stay, neutral when you start playing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care for the Saints at all. I still don't. But I'll tell you right now, Drew Brees was my quarterback up until he got injured. Why? Because I knew he was a good player. I knew he was consistent. That's how it is. When you play fantasy football, it's not about who you like and don't like. It's all about, hey, do you want to pick up the team to win? And it's still fun, though, just even if you don't, like, we just played just for the hell of it.
Yeah. And we'll probably do some sort of money next year.
Yeah.
Only for the fact is, I mean, we play a 10-team league. Out of it, 8 or 9 people pretty much set their lineup every week, but we have a 1 or a 2, one who's like not super consistent, and the other one who's like in between. They play like half and half.
Yeah.
And when you add the money, whether it be $20, everyone plays. Yeah. Majority of the time. And if they don't, you're not mad about it, because it's like, well, that's just up my chances of winning some, like $200.
You're just kicking away your chance at whatever the pot is, and I have higher chance now.
Because I have no problem paying $20 to have fun for 5 months.
Oh yeah,
like I don't care.
Well, you have your like little spats back and forth, of course, because then you're playing against your friends and family, and you go, well, you son of a bitch, you fucking outscored me. I had you until that one player decided to drop a 30 burger, or something. So and it's all fun, and and it's actually some of the most fun I've had doing something where I really didn't have to do anything other than, every week just set my lineup, which you always got to remember to double check to make sure you don't forget to put somebody in.
Yeah, it's a process. Injuries are hell.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll pop up on a Saturday, and you don't know what the hell.
Injuries and bye weeks. Woo.
But back to free agency.
Yes.
We'll do it in recent news to us. Your team just added an offensive lineman. Someone they're giving a C+ to as the trade. Or not a trade, but you just added him. His name's Graham Glasgow. They didn't say what team he's from. Doesn't sound familiar to me. They're giving a C+ because he's risky. And I know my team, Philly, just dropped Halapuva Vaitai. Holy shit, I got that out in one time. Which sucks, but crazy. Mind you, second stringer, Lions picked him up, 5-year, $50 million deal for a young second stringer. Wow. That's some... I hate that they did it, because we have probably one of the best offensive linemen retiring this year, Jason Peters. Fantastic guy, like 14 years in the league as a lineman, like 13-time Pro Bowler, first ballot Hall of Famer, absolute animal of a player. Real chungus he is, like 350 pounds, something like that. Real Cowboys type lineman. Besides that, the big news I know that came out was DeAndre Hopkins from the Texans is going to Arizona to assist Larry Fitzgerald. That's fucking scary. Those two playing with each other. And David Johnson from the Cardinals is going to be then going to the Texans to be their running back, which are pretty big changes. Which is a really interesting story if you know kind of the story of David Johnson. So, not this last year, but the year before it, he was the number 1 running back. I think he was like top 2 or 3. Really breakout year for being such a young guy. Spent the end of last year injured and pretty much all this year injured. They pick up Kerryon Johnson. Piece of shit running back. He was with the Dolphins. He sucked. He had upside, but he was with the Dolphins. Comes to Arizona. First week there, 200 yards, like 3 touchdowns.
Oh.
And it's like, oh shit. Like, David Johnson, look out for your job. Does it again the next week, and then just he's steady the whole rest of the year. Like up and down, but steady. And now they're like, fuck you, we don't need David Johnson. Fuck this guy. Because everyone still looks at him as like high draft pick because he had like 2 really good years.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, we got this guy who's just as young and he's badass, or he's like a year older. We can get rid of this guy and get now a top 5 receiver. Because DeAndre Hopkins is a really, he's got almost hands like Julio Jones, but no one's got those kind of hands.
No. Julio Jones
is in a league of his own.
Exactly. He is out
There's the
there
XFL, the NFL, and then there's the Julio Jones League. You can't stop it. That man, I don't care what anyone says, probably will be a Hall of Famer.
He was one of those people that, if he got open and he got free, he was gone. It was
well, for being 6'6", and I mean the wingspan he has in the hands. I mean, you throw the ball up to him, double coverage, triple coverage. If it's high enough, he's catching it.
Oh yeah.
No one can jump that high. No one's as tall as he is. Unless you plan on playing Shaq back there, you're not going to stop him. And then if you give him any space, this guy's still going to outrun you. I don't know how he does it. I mean, he's called Jet Jones for a reason. The guy's unbelievable. And I'm extremely excited for football this year, assuming fucking happens. But
yeah. Well, and I could see it happening no matter what. It's just, unfortunately, I think worst case scenario is going to get postponed a while, and they might do a short season, which would then suck that much more.
Yeah.
Because that football season is my...
Football is religion in this house.
Exactly. I was just about to say...
I'm not going to say like we're a Texas family, but football season is happy time around here.
Okay.
Every weekend is enjoyable. Even if our teams maybe are sucking, it's still a fun time around here. Because it's just football. Because we're probably the only family on the planet that is 100% supportive of all 3 of our teams, Falcons, Eagles, and Broncos, all, the fun ones. So if one of us is doing shitty, we're happy because probably one of the other ones is doing good. Like, that's how it's been in recent times. Broncos and Falcons have been pretty crap. But Philly's been okay.
Well, but what do you expect? We won our Super Bowl.
And then you just foot off the gas pedal, right on the brake.
Not only that, but then once again, we decide, hey, let's go pick up someone's leftover quarterback. Stop doing that. It worked with Manning. Awesome.
It shouldn't have, but it did.
Exactly, and it still took what, 6 years for that to happen?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. He had a lot of good years.
He did.
Pretty much every year, I think, except his first year, was he had his best years with you guys. Honestly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he broke the passing yards record, 5,487. Unfucking believable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Mahomes beat that yet. He beat the touchdown record. I know Mahomes did. Because he also did it in that same year, Manny, where he threw for 50 touchdowns. It's fucking unreal. I mean...
And that's it. He did good, and I won't doubt that. I called it from the beginning, though, that he would win us a Super Bowl and retired. And it happened, so I feel good about that. But this business with Flacco... I could understand if you bring him on to train a rookie quarterback, like what we have now. Drew Lock, in his first 2 games that he played, his first pass, if I'm correct, was a touchdown pass to Kirtland Sutton, a beast of a player who's making some phenomenal catches.
I'm really hoping I guess he wasn't a rookie last year. I don't think. I think it was his second year. I don't know for sure.
True. I think this might have been his second year this year.
I'll fact check it, but definitely a big up and coming.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's it. The
player.
Biggest problem though is, of course, since he's still new, he doesn't have the consistency as your veterans. But still, he made some big plays happen this last year.
Last year was his sophomore year, which is good because he did better in his second year, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Because so many players are just stuck in that they hit the sophomore slump, and
they
just
have a
kills
blowout
them.
first year because they're so excited to be in the NFL and get to play, and then they start settling in okay, I'm in here for the long haul.
Yeah. They don't let that, because they think they're comfortable in the first year. Everything went well. I did good, and then they just kind of take it off the gas. They don't work as hard. They're like, I'm in the NFL. Things are going to go right, and they just fuck off. But he did it right. he kept working, and his second year he had 400 more yards than his first year. I mean, he broke any receiver who breaks the 1,000-yard mark in a season. That was a good year. Yeah. I mean, you can't be mad about that.
Exactly.
Because it's always been like that. 1,000-year, which is a weird thing for receivers compared to running backs. That there's been, I think, 9 total running backs to go over 2,000 yards. There hasn't been a single receiver. I'm wondering who will be the next one.
You gotta remember,
or the first one.
You have usually you switch between
like
one or two running backs compared to your 3 to 5
especially
receivers.
Nowadays,
and your receiver is, it's a 20-yard dump to this guy. Then this guy gets a 40-yard fucking bullet over here. And then that guy's getting 80-yard bomb down that way. So he plays it all over. Whereas your running back, you have that. It's like, okay, once he's handed the ball, whatever yardage is all his. And, it's not like you're just swapping out like, okay, you'll go in as running back this play, you'll go as next play, you'll go next play, you'll go, and then we'll just start back over.
Yeah.
It's usually just one guy running the entire time, but then again, you also bring in your fullbacks and stuff like that.
Well, I guess you can't say fullbacks. Fullback is really a dead position now.
Well, it is.
I think the only 2 teams, Atlanta ran it for a little while, but San Francisco was the big recent team in the Super Bowl to run Kyle Juszczyk as a fullback, who is like literally the only fullback left in the NFL.
Yeah.
With that position on Madden on his name. I mean, no one does that. Because they just run 2 running backs. I mean, a fullback was meant to be a runner/blocker. And nowadays, people they don't need someone who's crazy good at blocking. Because normally when they're really good at blocking, they suffer in speed.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's a fast game. We need fast people.
Well, just look at your team. Little Sproles.
Well, now Boston Scott. Yeah. Now Sproles is gone.
But little Sproles, then you had Scott, Howard.
Well, technically it would be, because Sproles would have been injured. So you'd be like, we'd have like Sproles, Howard, and it'd be like one other. But now it's like we'll have Howard, Miles Sanders, and Scott. We've got all 3 phases. Yeah. We've got the Howard who can just run through people. The Sanders,
just trucks them.
Yeah, the Sanders who's kind of shifty. He can kind of do everything. And then Boston Scott, who's 5'5" and has the acceleration of like a Ferrari. Yeah, I mean, the guy just goes.
You give him an opening and he's gone.
I love that guy. He's 5'5", but he's got like the face and beard of like a trucker. It's beautiful. I love that man.
Well, that's it. That's another thing is, while playing, fantasy football, I know I picked up Howard at one point because he was doing...
He just got injured.
Well, that's it. And you guys kind of got screwed this year. The injury...
The blue tent was our best friend.
Your mascot should have just been the blue tent this year.
Pretty much.
Only because people just kept getting hurt.
I don't care what anyone says who wants to complain about injuries. If you weren't an Eagles fan, you don't know what the fuck injuries are. Yeah. This was everyone... Top 3 receivers. Top running back. Top 2 running backs. Sproles and Howard. 3 offensive linemen. I think 2 defensive linemen. Every cornerback on the roster. Yeah. Fuck off.
You basically were relying on the backups to your backups. It's pretty much what it was.
And to still make the playoffs was
Well, and that's it. That's why, as we were watching it, and as you had mentioned earlier, we support each other's teams.
Yeah.
Seeing your team go like that, I have a new love. It
makes you a fan of each other's teams.
Well, that's it. I have a new love for the Eagles in the way that they fight. And not only that, when you showed me that documentary.
Which is fantastic. By the way, if anyone, even if you're not an Eagles fan, if you have Amazon Prime, it's called All or Nothing. They do it every year. They pick some team. They've got the Cowboys on there. They're on this was the 5th season. Yeah. But I know we've got the Cowboys and a couple other teams. This year was Philly. Fantastic season. Shows you kind of like the in-depth of the players' lives. A few of the key ones like Big Boy, Brandon Graham Cracker, and all of them.
Yeah, you truly get to see the level of camaraderie and passion between. They really are.
It's like watching a movie when you see them.
Well, not only that, but it truly is. When you watch that one of the Eagles, you know why it's called the City of Brotherly Love. The way they treat each other.
Sadly, that phrase only applies to the football team because you're more likely to get stabbed than loved in Philly. I've been there. It's true.
Unless you guys win the Super Bowl, then it's just full-scale riot.
Because that was insane. They won the Super Bowl and crime stopped. Crime hasn't stopped in Philly since the Tea Party.
Oh, yeah. But no, it was, playing fantasy and, watching all the different games, getting just that ability to see, other teams and how they, run together and go, I'm not going to lie, just from what I've seen, had I not been a Broncos fan, of course I can't say what fan I wouldn't be, but if it's, say, for some weird coincidence, just for the sake of the conversation, this next year comes out and they suddenly just cut, 4 teams from each conference.
Like they cut the AFC South, I think is what you guys are. And
or they just cut 4 teams from each conference, so 1 from each division or whatnot on each conference. And the Broncos happen to just get cut. I could probably confidently say I wouldn't mind being an Eagles fan. I'd still be a diehard Broncos, even though they wouldn't be there.
Even though they're gone,
But the way the Eagles play and
there's heart.
And that's it. Watching that documentary is just it's one of the best documentaries out there I've seen. That's of any type of sport. Just the fact of you kind of get an in-depth look.
To see these, which is weird, is when that came out on Facebook, because it was like a countdown almost, because the Eagles page on Facebook is probably the most aggressive place on the planet. Don't get me wrong, Philly fans are some of the biggest fans on the planet, but everyone's brought it up on every ESPN channel ever. These fuckers threw snowballs at Santa, okay? If we're losing, it's a bad day. We will kill people. I mean, crime stopped in terms of person-on-person crime when we won the Super Bowl, but we almost burnt the city to the ground. I mean, I think the best video I ever saw was them hopping on top of it was the Hilton. They had an awning in front of it.
Oh yeah.
And it was the doom death metal music playing while it was doing it, just just tearing the city apart. But everyone was loving it. No one was hitting each other.
No one was hurting each other. Everyone was.
The cops didn't even stop them because all the cops were Philly fans. They were helping them flip the cars. They're like, "It's your car. You're gonna have to flip it back."
You want a car to flip? I got a squad car right around the corner. Let's go do this, man.
We'll flip it back tomorrow. My chief's right here. He don't give a shit. Maybe it's a hubris thing, but I don't see a lot of teams that have heart like they used to. I can't imagine Raiders fans and players are the funnest and most camaraderie bunch on the planet. They just...
No, they're just the craziest, because...
Raiders fans are psycho.
Oh, yeah.
We're crazy, but those people are hospital crazy.
I don't understand this, and I'm not just saying this because you're in my division, and,
I've seen the way you guys dress.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but when you come dressed looking like freaking...
Don't dress stuff that isn't even related.
You come in looking like Darth Vader going and trying to... Just because it's all black. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
That is stupid. If you want to go all out with something to support your team, go ahead. If I had the money, I'd go with a whole full foam getup to look like a damn Bronco so I could support the Denver Broncos.
But Lucasfilms.
Yeah, you're not supporting the Darth Vaders. You're the Oakland Raiders. Well, not even the Oakland Raiders anymore.
Really well. I hate that.
Unintentional.
Shit, now I think we're the stupid ones.
No. It's got to be them. It's got to be. But yeah, no, the Raiders fans.
Those are some people.
Yeah.
There are some teams that I can see a little bit of the camaraderie on in terms of, say, call it biased because we live here, but a lot of the Midwest teams. Midwest people seem just so much more invested in their teams. And around here, you could say it's more college invested. Because I've noticed that when you get into the Bible Belt and the Midwest and places like that, college football is just religion to them. It's crazy. I don't know how many people I've talked to. I've been like, "What's your favorite NFL team?" And they're like, "Yeah, I don't really watch that. I love football, but I don't watch that." I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah, it's.
I can't wrap my head around college football. It's just, if you love it, I've talked to so many people because I mean all of our friends they're college football freaks. Logan, all of them.
Oh yeah.
Logan, Andrew, Josh, Jordan, they're all college people. Yeah. And I mean the rivalry between them is crazy. Between if you're an Iowa or Iowa State person. But
and then that one person off to the side
is the UNI or something.
Nebraska
or Nebraska or something. But I understand the reason a lot of the people like it is the intensity. Because those kids aren't playing for money. Yeah. They're playing because this is like their dream. Yeah. And they're also playing because they want to get to the NFL and then make money. Yeah. There's also that.
Well, they're fighting for their, to get to their dream. And that's it. They're doing it so that, they could obtain their dream. Whereas in the NFL players, they're just like, yeah, I got a paycheck. I don't care.
Yeah. and you can. But I like that in the NFL. Because you can tell the discrepancy between those players. Yeah. Now, when he gets blown out, there's really, I guarantee, not that many players who are only playing for the money. They love this sport. Their whole life is around this sport. I mean, they've played it since they were probably 8 years old.
But you got to admit, though, the fact that they play for, one
$10
game
million a year.
Yeah.
Or
well, that's that. One game a week for about half a year, and they're earning millions while I'm busting my ass for 40 hours a week, barely scraping by. It's
playing a little bit bullshit.
Yeah. No, and that's it. It's like that does help, but then again, they also, unfortunately, that's when they acquire those expensive tastes, and then they have to play that much just so they can afford to pay off all the shit they bought.
My biggest problem with college that I can't get around it is you're in college, and your team recruits this amazing player. I mean, unbelievable. He's great. Guess what? He's so good, he only gets to be with you for 2 fucking years because he's going to declare for the draft after his sophomore year.
Yeah.
Because he can. Why wouldn't he? Like, if he knows he's going to the NFL as like a top 5 pick, sorry, college ain't that important at that point.
Yeah. And not only that, they'll do that too because then they're like, well, I don't want something happening in the last 2 years. Yeah. That could possibly fuck up my chance of actually making it to the... If I have a guaranteed spot right now...
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. If you're a top 5 pick or a top first round guaranteed pick in the NFL, and you are, you should feel no guilt about leaving college. Because the money you make in that first year, even if it doesn't work out, if you feel like going back to college, you can afford it now. Yeah. Even if you don't need the scholarship. It's just how you're going to make enough money in your rookie year.
Exactly.
Rookies, it just got... I think the after this new CPA from the NFL, I think it just got upped again what rookies make, and it's still like the comparison of what rookies make to veterans is like it's fucking huge.
Well, I mean, of course.
By like a long shot, but fairly so because rookies are unproven. There's a huge gap between playing in the NFL and college, and that's why I like the NFL because the talent is just. One, I get to watch people pass in the fucking NFL. Yeah. Watching college and high school, it's like, we're going to run this play. And then we're going to run, and then we're going to run again. It's 4th down, let's punt. Now the other team's going to run, and then they're going to do a 5-yard incomplete pass, and then they're going to run. I don't want that.
Oh, I know what you mean. Back when I was at Iowa State, I went to some of the games there, and it's like, there was times where it's like, you're running it again. You just ran the last 20 times and they stopped you every time.
Don't get me wrong, I am exaggerating. They do pass more than that. Yeah. But the amount of actual good quarterbacks in college, obviously because there's so many more colleges than NFL teams, it's just they all suck. It's like high school football. When I was in high school, I went to the games to hang out with friends, not rarely to watch the game because I don't want to see 85% of people running. I've always said if any high school team in the US just trained their quarterback to pass the ball, they would win every single game.
Oh, yeah. Well, but you also got to train the wide receivers.
That's what you got to do. Yeah. If you passed every single play, you would win because no one back here does that. No one in high school does that because running is a lot easier than
passing. And I remember that in high school, too, is the games I went to, I don't even remember watching a single bit. I'd go there because, all of our friends would be there and be like, sweet, a night to hang out and bullshit with my buddies outside of the whole bit of school and learning and crap and just have some fun.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything there because I didn't care for it because it's high school football. I don't give a damn.
Right, yeah.
No one's like, oh yeah, high school football. I'm just dying to watch it.
No. Back here, I will give them the benefit of the doubt.
A little bit of leeway.
Yeah, because it's the Midwest is like Texas, but dulled down. They love sports back here. They love sports.
Oh yeah.
Like it's
well,
you
what
have
do you
to do it or your family shuns you. It's like the Japanese, except if you don't do math. Yeah. It's like you have to do it. Like
well, and you kind of have to because remember we're in Iowa. We got corn. That's about it. So you're either a farmer or you're a player. Yeah. One way or another, you kind of have to be one.
I mean, like my graduating class after the merger of two schools was like 100 people. But let's take it before that. My graduating class before two schools merged was like 60 people. 58 of them were in sports. I mean, like year-round sports, like track or like football, basketball, track, all three. Like not just one. I was the wild child who just mixed shit up all the time. I played every sport but wrestling because I'm not gay. Because I cannot get over the idea of putting on a unitard and throwing people to the ground. Not for me.
Not only that,
and then getting cauliflower ear when I'm 30.
And just like, rubbing up against it. I'm sorry.
It's not for me.
No.
I'm not saying... Okay, before all you wrestling fans get all butthurt. Wrestling is a real sport. I'm fine. I get it. It's a tough sport. You have to watch your weight. It's a lot of working out. I get it. Just not for me.
Yeah.
Okay? I got a tiny enough bulge already. I don't need a unitard showing it off.
Packing that Tic Tac.
Exactly. So, before we wrap it up, because we're about that time, we were going to run this a little bit shorter, but I actually think we're back on a regular time anyway. I was in Australia. Which I actually think the bushfires are done there now.
They got to be done because now the coronavirus is here.
You can't have two things at once.
It's one thing after another because I hate to bring this up, and I'm going to, though I'm steering clear of the political minefield that we have up until thus far. When was the last time you heard about people dying from vaping?
That's true.
There's always a focus somewhere. People were so focused on the, people dying from vaping, and then they started finding out, well, it's not really vaping because it's people getting black market
THC
backyard
cartridges.
Fucking THC that was built by or made by
some guy who just just started dumping chemicals and then said this gets you high.
Shit. He's like, yeah, this gets you high, not from somewhere that's been tested and it's like FDA approved. And then they're like, well, that doesn't support what we were saying at first. Okay, dodge that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Australian
Because if you notice, if anyone ever digs into the stories of the people who got EVALI, which is the vaping disease, as they call it. It's EVALI, EVALI. Look it up if you feel like it. And it's all of the victims of it are normally college kids, obviously. And they're not like people who vape on a regular day basis. They're people who just do it every now and again. And they're people who just get it from like at a party. Someone's like, try this, do this. And they're like, okay, I'm drunk. Why not? And
it's college.
Yeah,
why not?
Exactly. I'm a vapor. Earl's a vapor. It's done it for a while now. My father is. It's not that. It's not bad. It's nowadays with the things that are put in it. Is it unhealthier for you than not doing it? Duh.
Well, of course.
But is it... Could you do it your entire life and be fine? Yeah. And the statistics show it. Like, the CDC has already announced that normal vaping has nothing to do with that. But of course, the second the CDC announces anything that goes against the norm, it gets just fucking brushed out the window. They're like, I didn't see that. What was that? Like...
Well, and, the one thing that always got me... And I could understand to a point on some things, the damn ads where they're like, oh, if you vaped and you're 5 times or 6 times or whatever many times more likely to start smoking. I can tell you right now that's a damn lie because my father used to be almost a pack to 2 pack a day smoker. He stopped completely and he started vaping instead. Now he's on a way lower dosage of nicotine than you would have had.
And
plus, he's cutting out all the harsh chemicals and other stuff you get.
Because that's the bad thing is it's so many people want to like put the hate on like the nicotine part of it.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like the tar and the
stuff in the filters.
It's like the Cinnagon or like something gin.
It's like Cinnagon or Cinnagon or whatever. I know
like,
what you're talking about.
Those are the
Cyanide,
shitty ones. Arsenic. No. Anthrax. That like destroy your throat and coat it and just destroy your immune system. Those are the bad ones. Nicotine, is it technically good for you? No. Fuck is anything though?
Yeah, anything now. If you have ever eaten fast food, congratulations, you're in with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Because that's not good for you either.
Yeah.
Unless we're all eating leaves and sticks.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Are you a normal human American? Yeah. Are you? You are? Okay, good. You're going to be fine vaping. By the way, are you healthy? Good. Then you'll be fine if you get the coronavirus, you piece of shit. Okay, I had to bring it back up. Sorry. I meant to bring it up earlier. I couldn't. I'm done. We're done.
Just goose fraba.
Yeah.
But yeah, I all that nonsense, and it seems to be one big thing after another. What can we hold in the limelight to keep everyone's attention?
Because we talked about that last 2 weeks ago with the Hong Kong protesters. Because that's when, it was about 2 weeks ago when
about 2-3.
the coronavirus stuff like really popped up.
Yeah, when they first started talking about it.
And it was like, have you heard about Hong Kong? Nope. Like,
have you heard about any more protests? No. Oh, that's funny.
Speaking of the protesters, you know what? I'm still pissed that they didn't win Time People of the Year. You heard about that story, right?
No, I didn't.
So
freaking what's her face?
Yeah, Greta Thunberg did. That piece of shit pawn who no one has heard from since.
Congratulations. You've been a pawn and you got Time Person of the Year.
Yeah.
You must be very proud.
I normally enjoy who Time puts as the Person of the Year. Normally it's like they'll do like Oprah. Do I agree with a lot of the stuff Oprah does? Or some stuff, no. But she's a huge philanthropist. She gives like dozens of her money away.
Yeah.
Anyone who gives a large majority of money away to any charity, I can ignore the side shit a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if it's a good charity, you know what? You gave your hard-earned money for a charity. Good for you. Like,
trying to do something good.
I would have trouble doing that if I was a millionaire, giving away like $500,000 to a charity. It's tough. No. I mean,
well, because you start playing that pros and cons of, well, with $500,000,
I could buy my new Ferrari, or like I can.
You start weighing.
I could burn it in a barrel. There's so many options.
I could buy the Ferrari just so I could have it demolished and go ha ha ha.
And get a great laugh. I mean, so anyone who truly donates a lot is they're okay in my book. Yeah. Even if they really. Unless they do really horrible shit, then I don't touch it.
Then it's not the good outweighs the bad. No.
Yeah. We talked about it on Toxic Topics. I wouldn't actually mind hearing your opinion before we end. It was a question of whether celebrities should be obligated to donate money to charity. And I'm 100% against that.
I wouldn't say that they should be obligated. Now, I believe that anyone and everyone should do whatever they can for the betterment of others.
Of humanity and your general...
in a way to kind of tie it a little bit back to what we talked about earlier about the Philly players and the one player on your team that you wanted to win
Malcolm Jenkins, Walter paid Man of the Year. By the way, Calais Campbell, fuck you. Actually, you're a really cool guy. Sorry, but Malcolm Jenkins got laws passed in Philly. That's insane for a player to do. Like
an NFL player who had no obligation, was not expected to, but went above and beyond to change things for the better in his community, in his city. Now, would I love to see every single person who has money, like any celebrity or whatnot, do something that's impactful? Yeah. Does it necessarily mean that they need to start shoveling money into charities? No. There's other things. Hey, take your time, like Tom Holland, since he's become Spider-Man now, he's taken time to go into children's hospitals. I've seen a couple things.
I do like that he's doing things like that.
Stuff like that. You're not donating money, but imagine the impact on those kids' lives at those hospitals. They could be huge. Sitting at a point where they think, I'm going to die, life is hopeless, whatever, and here comes Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The one who was in the movie. You saw him, he's here, he's saying hi to you.
That's awesome.
Who cares if I have cancer? I got to meet Spider-Man.
Like, if you do charity, that's that's awesome. It really is.
Thank you.
But if you don't do any of it at all, there's zero reason you should be ostracized at all. If you just don't feel comfortable with the idea of giving your money out like that, and maybe it was the way you were raised, maybe it's you worked so hard for that money, you don't believe you should give it up. Do not feel bad.
Yeah.
Because no one, I think, should be pressured into this idea that, I'm on the millionaires list, so I have to donate. You do not. It's just no one should have to be pressured into that.
Yeah, but you shouldn't treat people like crud either.
Yeah. If you're Jeff Bezos with like 100 million or 100 billion, don't be afraid, Bezos. You're good. You can donate a little. And he does. He's a cool guy. But for being the richest man on the planet, it's like Bill Gates was. Bill Gates is a fucking saint. That guy is, besides, Microsoft. Wink. Super awesome guy. I mean, I think him and Melinda, his foundation, they've donated over $50 billion in total money. It's like unbelievable. Like that guy is. He should get like a 2100 gun salute. It's
2100. They at his funeral they should just do like his own almost either I'm not gonna lie, if I was ever gonna go out talking on the whole thing of funerals and stuff, I would almost want to go out in ye olden times of some sort.
Pyre.
Yeah,
that's what I think I want. Yeah.
That or send me a float on a boat into the middle of the ship and flaming out.
Viking times. I've always said I want to get burned in a pyre because I don't plan on getting buried because it's a waste of space. It just is. We've talked about the vertical coffins before. Yeah. Still a waste of space, though. Why wouldn't you get cremated?
Yeah. Plus, if you're cremated and there's no remains, no such thing as a zombie.
Exactly. If you have a religious issue with it, I understand it. If your belief tells you you're supposed to be buried, we're not stopping you. But if you're just a normal guy, just get burned. What are people going to do with your dead body? Besides, I'll save it for when my father's on the podcast, our father, about his idea for when he is... during his mortality.
When he's passed.
It's a fantastic idea. When we do bring it up, please pay attention, and if you can link us to anyone who can help, it'll be great.
Much
appreciated. Well, give it a couple weeks, probably 2 weeks now, it'll pop up.
I'd almost pull that whole joke of if I'm going to be cremated, I want them to stuff me full of popcorn kernels. What a way to get cremated. Be like, oh, there he goes, and is that popcorn coming out of him? Just that craziness of it. But I don't know. I'm a crazy person. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. That's about all the time we've got. Expect next week us to be back to regular shooting.
Full staff.
Yeah, full staff. Josh should be back. Jordan should be back, I think. I don't know his situation with his family. It's a whole... I haven't talked to him in a week. We have no clue what's going on. Yeah. But Josh should be back. He's just a busy man with tax season. It's finally coming to a close-ish. Yeah. About 2 weeks from now, I think Jordan will be back. And we might have our father on. It's either 2 or 3 weeks we'll have him on, which that'll be a fun podcast. We'll probably run 5 people. Besides that... Yeah, that'll be a whole lot of fun. Besides that, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe somewhere in this general area. Somewhere in the bottom left. And if you've watched to this point, throw in the comments something you'd like us to talk about. Doesn't matter what it is, a topic, something special. If we'll talk about it, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast.
Don't ask if you feel you want to ask us questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Keep this as interactive as possible. We've got about 2 or 3 more minutes. We can give a little bit of the. Since me and Earl have been the two kind of not proprietors of the podcast, but the ones who have really gotten it set it up.
The driving force for the most part.
On the budget format and the getting the tools and the lighting and the camera, and it's been Earl more than me, no fucking kidding. But big man here. But we want to hear everything you have. Our eventual goal is to get to a live podcast.
Yeah.
To be able to do this every Wednesday, which is when we normally shoot on Sundays. We're probably going to move that to Fridays. But we upload and have it premiere on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Our goal...
Eastern Standard Time?
Central.
Central.
No. Yeah, Central.
Yeah, Central time.
No, wait. Yeah, Central. Central.
Central Time.
Central Time, 12
Noon
p.m.
Central Time.
Somewhere around there. And our eventual goal is to do it on Wednesdays. Maybe not noon, obviously.
Well,
probably like 5 or 6 or something. Live every day so that we can interact with you as you're watching. This can feel like a premiere to our viewers who really enjoy the podcast.
And a good idea, and I'm going to kind of give them a shout out to another channel that we love. A channel that we inspire to get to. Now, they're on a whole nother level because of what they do. But a channel that we enjoy that kind of helped get this going in our minds. Rooster Teeth. Big shout out to you. We love your guys' videos.
Been watching since the last 10 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I've been watching the podcast since this is 150 maybe, and you guys are on 500 now.
Yeah.
So big shout out, Gus Cirola, Barbara Dunkelman, Gavin Free, Bernie Burns, the rest of the group there. You guys are fantastic people. We model our set after you.
Yeah.
So
and we're working on, it's still a process of upgrading, but yeah, if you guys want to give them a look out, that's Rooster Teeth.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to shoot for here. We want a weekly podcast where we could get to the point of being live, being interactive.
Where you can talk to us, we can talk to you back to the camera. It's one fluid thing.
We could have a chat screen up where we see what you're saying right then, and we can answer you right away, and then you don't have to wait 3 to 4 days.
Exactly. So, definitely, thank you, all of the fans who have watched so far. I think we're somewhere around a few thousand watch hours up there and a couple hundred views. It's been fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Expect a video every single week. You've been wonderful.
Yes.
We are the Weekly Special. I'm Garrett. This is Earl. He is, yes. And we will see you next week.